Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you are well today. Welcome to our session. I'm excited to have this opportunity to connect with each and every one of you. I encourage you all to actively participate, ask questions, and share your thoughts. Remember that learning is a collaborative process, and your contributions are essential in creating a dynamic and enriching environment for everyone involved. Today, inshallah, our session is about writing skills. As you know, writing skills are essential and very important to get the full mark at the end of the year, inshallah. And writing is a powerful tool for expressing ideas, thoughts, and emotions. Good writing skills enable you to communicate your message clearly and effectively, ensuring that the intended meaning is understood by the reader. In our writing session, inshallah, we will go through two parts. Part one, how to write an article, how to write a report, how to write a letter, and how to write a proposal. In part two, you'll know how to write an article, review, report, proposal, essay, letter, information sheet, contribution to a longer piece, book entry, and competition entry, and so on. And you must understand the layout of the essay and the layout of a paragraph and so on. And we will differentiate between formal and informal letters. So let's get started by the layout of an essay. An essay must have 4 paragraphs. The first one must include a statement declared in the task. We can say the topic that they want us to write about. And the second one must have from 1 to 2 paragraphs in which you give 2 or 3 reasons for the statement, explanation to the statement. In paragraph 3, you must have 1 paragraph in which you give 2 or 3 reasons against the statement but disprove them. For an example, if you have a 2-side paragraph, a 2-side essay, you must have 4 paragraphs. An introduction, and the second paragraph must be reasons because you are for that statement, you agree with that statement, and so on. And in the third paragraph, you must have reasons to explain why people are against that statement, and so on. Number 4, to conclude by summing up, by justifying and restating your opinion, or to rewrite your introduction, and so on. The next point, you must differentiate between the style of formal and informal letters. Here, the style of the formal essay. For example, you must have no contractions of phrasal verbs or idioms. Contractions, for example, when you write I am, I cannot write it I am, I apostrophe am. It must be without any contraction, so I am, not I am, I have, not I have, she has, not she's, and so on. Phrasal verbs, for an example, vocabulary can have phrasal verbs in English have the same meaning. When I say to investigate, investigate here is a formal verb. And the phrasal verb had the same meaning of that verb is to look into. And let me tell you something. A phrasal verb is a verb with a preposition, or a verb with an adverb, and so on. So look into is a phrasal verb that had the same meaning of the verb investigate. So in formal writing, we must use verbs, not phrasal verbs. And idioms, and so on. Idioms are not allowed in formal writing. Number 2, you must avoid using the first person singular as far as possible. The first person, to talk about yourself, to say I, to say, to talk about your opinion, or to write a lot about your opinion. So you must always say, it's said in the passive way, talk about people's opinion and try to avoid using the pronoun I or the first person. What's important is to use the third person, he, she, they, and so on. Using passive voice as much as possible is better than using active voice. And instead of saying people say that money is important, you can say it is said that money is important around the world. Begin each paragraph with a topic sentence. A topic sentence is a main idea for each paragraph. And after that, statements after the topic one are explanations for the topic sentence or the main idea for each paragraph. Justify your ideas with examples. Explain them. Support your ideas with examples and so on. Do not include any new ideas in the conclusion. Going through steps to the formal writing, starting by introduction, following it by 2 paragraphs, one for supporting and one for being against. That means that you have shared all your ideas in that part. In conclusion, it's not allowed to add any idea. Conclusion must be an justifying of the introduction. Is it clear? Okay. Now we are with useful expressions to introduce arguments, points, and so on. Generally speaking, there is no doubt that those are useful ways you can use while writing formal essays. There are many advantages too, and notice that this useful expression must be followed with a verb in ing. For an example, there are many advantages to using social media in learning a language. It's a well-known fact that it thought, believed, claimed that. One example, it is thought that English has become a lingua franca language, has become a worldwide language. It's believed that English is spoken around the world. When you have 2 points of view, you can say one point of view is, and support this point of view with opinions. For one thing, another argument is far from using social media. There are those people who believe that on the one hand, on the other hand, and so on. For an example, on the one hand, social media has a lot of advantages. On the other hand, social media has some disadvantages. So on the one hand, to give the positive idea, on the other hand, to give the negative idea. In contrast with, contrary to the above ideas. So contrary to the above ideas, to talk about the negative opinions or the against idea. On the contrary, others feel, argue that, and so on. Now we are discourse markers. Discourse communication through speaking or writing. And those markers we are going to be going through now. To have communication among ideas in writing is one. All types, cause, result, time, reason, contrast, emphasis, summing up, and so on. Firstly, to start. Secondly, in addition or in addition to, furthermore, moreover, what's more, however, therefore, in spite of, despite, and notice that in spite of or despite must be followed with a noun or verb in ing. Those are to express addition or to express contrast in the meaning. Although, since, and so on. So let's start with since. Since, as, because, owing to, due to, all of those have the same meaning to express cause or reasons. For example, I want to travel to England since I want to learn a language. As I want to learn English. Because I want to learn English. Owing to, I want, no. Owing to must be followed with a noun or verb ing. Owing to learning English. Due to had the same form of owing to and the same meaning of because, since, and as. To summarize your paragraph, your essay, you can use all in all, on the whole. Another point worth mentioning is taking everything into account or into consideration. My belief is that to give your idea at the end of the essay, and the way I see it is blah 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 to explain what you want to say. So all what we've said, the layout of the formal essay, the style of writing in a formal essay, and useful expressions you can use to introduce arguments or points and so on. Now we are with the informal letter. So we have said that in formal letters, you can use no contractions, no phrasal verbs, and no idioms. But in informal letters, you can use contractions, you can use phrasal verbs, you can use idioms, and so on. And now we are with an informal letter. An informal letter, usually postal addresses are not necessary unless they say otherwise. You can use dear, hi, hello. How can you start an informal letter? So, here are some ways you can use it to start, to begin an informal letter. Great, lovely to hear from you. So on. Thanks a lot for the letter. It was great to get your letter. Sorry to hear about your blah blah blah. Sorry for not writing for so long. I haven't written. I haven't been in touch for so long. It's just a way to start communication in an informal letter with someone sent you one. Ways to persuade the one you are sending an informal letter. You'd get so much out of it. And notice here the contraction. You would. An apostrophe E here is an abbreviation for would, because it's a full word with an infinitive. It would be a wonderful, marvelous opportunity for you to just think of, just imagine how it would. An example, improve your CV, not to mention the money you could earn. Ways to advise, whatever you do, make sure you. It's not word, and notice that it's what comes after word must be a noun or verb in ing. There is little point plus a noun or ing. I wouldn't if I were you. You'd be much better off must be followed with a gerund or a verb ing. And how to end an informal letter. I must go now. Phone me as soon as possible. Write back soon and let me know how it goes. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and notice that here, to forward with a noun of verb ing because it comes with looking forward. And not every two in English must be forward with an infinitive. Please reply quickly. I finish now as I'm running out of space. Bye for now. I'd better get going. And notice here that apostrophe E with better is an abbreviation for had. And had better must be followed with an infinitive. I'd better get going. Can't wait to see you again. Give my love, regards to your parents. And when you sign your informal letter off, to your friends all the best wishes, bye for now. To your relatives, lots of love, all my love, and so on. So those are the ways you can use to write an informal letter. And we started with the essay to express two-side essay, 2 points of view. And number two, we have gone through informal letters. And next session, inshallah, we will go through a formal letter and what words we can use, what expressions we can use, and so on. And completely, it has different ways to or from the informal letter. And through our comment sessions, inshallah, you will know how to write a report and its characteristics and so on, a proposal, an article, and every kind of writing has its own characteristics, a point of view, and so on. Okay. Now we are with some related words and phrases to express those important meanings. Let's get started with agreement. How to express agreement in writing. Let's have that example. A great number of people share the view that tourism would have a negative impact on the island. Notice the highlighted word here. Share the view that. That expresses that you agree with the point. Today, there's a general, widespread agreement that pollution from cars and planes is threatening the future of our planet. It's now widely accepted that the universe began with the so-called Big Bang. Notice here, as we have just said, it's better to use informal writing, passive voice, than active voice. It's now widely accepted. Widely here, when I say around a lot of places or around the world. How to express the opposite, disagreement. Look at that example. Opinions differ about the proper relationship between the mass media and society. There is considerable disagreement among experts about the usefulness of these tests. There's been a great deal of controversy over abortion in the US. How to express our words and useful expressions to express advantages and disadvantages. Let's see the examples. Regular exercise has many benefits, including reducing the risk of heart disease. Despite a few problems with the design, the car's advantages clearly outweigh its disadvantages. Notice here that despite followed with a noun, not a sentence, not a subject, not a verb. And when I say advantages clearly outweigh here is a verb that means that advantages are more than disadvantages. The major drawback of this method is that it can be very time consuming. The downside of running your own business is that you are responsible if anything goes wrong. We are going to stop here and you must revise what we have studied today. Every word and every expression we have gone through is very important you can use while writing. Thank you so much and hope to find you with us in our comment session. Goodbye.